The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
The 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, 4 beer of sports talk and a whole lot more. Episode 326 on this 22nd day of August, 2023. Today's show is brought to you by SeatGeek.com. The SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420pod at SeatGeek.com today and save so $20 on your first purchase. Remember, we are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Go to BellyUpSports.com for all their great articles and other podcasts that are available up on that website. And thank everybody who listened or had watched the show on Sunday. Our third anniversary show with the Fan of the Van and Brutally Honest Sports and Level the Playing Field and Garrett from Two Dudes of Sports News. We had a lot of fun on Sunday afternoon there and had some laughs and everything else. So thank you very much to all those who have listened to it. Anyways, Dave, how's vacation treating you so far?
Doing well in Whitefish, Montana. This is now day 3. We're leaving back. We're going back home to Lethbridge, Alberta tomorrow. It's always nice to be away, but you know, there is a little party that wants to drag your ass home to get some normalcy, because I can get pretty fat and sassy hanging out.
Yeah, once you're away for a few days, if you're just out like a couple 3 days, you can actually you can get away from you pretty quick, and it's hard to get back in any kind of rotation, whatever you got going on. What did you get up to on Sunday after we got done recording? I know I had a brisket on the smoker, and we got into that a little bit. But what did you get up to on Sunday?
Oh, like I mentioned, it was going to be a lake day. We got friends that have a place on Foy's Lake. It's just outside of Kalispell, which we're always looking forward to. Got out there. It was a little bit, it was warm, but overcast. I like the sun. And so we played in the lake a little bit, but not as much as I would have wanted for reasons that I can't make up. The next door neighbor was having baptisms at their house, like real life. Oh, brother, where art thou? Get in the lake, dunk your head under the water, and baptize. Like, when I say mass, I mean like there must have been 30 to 50 people that got baptized that day.
No, I'm not a religious guy, Dave, by any means. I don't even pretend to play one on TV or in the podcast world, but I always thought there had to be some kind of holy water. I don't know what makes water holy to get that all taken care of, but unless a preacher comes and blesses a lake or something, but that's a bit odd for me, man.
It is the house next door. It's an odd setup. The house of my friends. It's I'm not going to call it modest, but it's just normal. It's a normal smaller lake house. But the people next door, it's a shack. It's huge shack. Like there must have been 150 people on the 2-tiered balcony watching people getting baptized, and there's stairs down to the lake, and people were walking down, getting dunked and clapping, and then the next it was like a carnival ride, except they were getting baptized. And you know, and when I jumped in, I was like, well, maybe that gave me a little bit of karma going on to wherever, you know. It's never
wash your sins away that we had the 1420 podcast that day. Who knows? But to me, that sounds like the Branch Davidians or the Heaven's Gate, or even that what was that Jonestown stuff that happened there? I think 3-4 years down the road, you might have a mass suicide or something going on down there in Montana. That's a little bit weird for me. It's not something you see every day, so I shouldn't judge and point fingers. But if it looks like a duck and walks like a duck, she's a duck, man.
Yeah, they were all to use the phrase, drinking the Kool-Aid. But I didn't read anything bad in the paper, and it's just, you know, we walk what we do not know. I myself, I have witnessed an adult baptism before. I was invited to one at a church, but they had a dunk tank in the church. This was in a lake that I have peed in. I have water skied in. I have had a couple beers in. Like, so I don't know. I do not know. You say the right prayer before you, like Jesus turned water into wine. So I imagine a preacher can cleanse that water so people can rededicate their life to Christ.
Dave, in the 3-year history of this show, doing this together for 300 plus shows of this thing, this is the first time I haven't had a cold beverage in my hand other than a glass of water I got going on here. We're recording at noon on a Tuesday, I guess. I have some stuff, get some running around I got to do. So like I had to cut, but first time, like maybe we're turning over a new leaf in our 4th year of doing this thing. Who knows? I doubt.
Well, you never do know. And this is like as it was on Sunday and now here, this is my first one of the day. It's after 12, so and I am on holiday, so I am going to give myself a bit of a pass for starting a little bit early,
Yeah.
and it's just, it's it's what we do, and I'd be amiss if I didn't
Well,
didn't have one while we drank.
Well, I'll find a way to have an extra one or later too tonight after I get done my running around. Anyways, earlier on, I think it was yesterday or the day before. Doesn't much matter what day it was. Orioles owner Peter Angelos basically came out and said that either there's no way he can keep up this first place in the American League, Baltimore Orioles together with the way the team's playing, with the way the current roster is set, because he knows he's going to have to spend more money, and the first thing he's going to have to do is raise ticket prices, raise concessions, and on it goes. This guy doesn't have a very good way of reading the room, I guess, like is one way of doing it. When your team's in first place and your fan base is excited for the first time in quite some time, maybe it's just time. Like, I know you're asked the question, or how it even comes up, I have no idea why they keep putting a microphone in front of this guy's face, but do owners got to learn, like, I know this, it's a business and everything else, but do owners really got to learn to respect your fan base a little bit more and say, okay, let these guys enjoy the moment for the year? Say it, like, make that kind of statement in December when no one's really paying attention because the Ravens are playing. Does this guy just need to shut up, or does the media need to not ask this guy any questions?
Well, I'm never one to say the media can't ask these questions, because these are things the fans want to know. And once I saw these comments and you wanted to chat about them, I read a little bit about this morning. Just to correct you, Peter's the dad. He's the owner, but he's 93.
Oh,
It's
okay.
his son, John, that is running the show. And he's the real POS running things here right now.
When you get the Greek names, it's either John or Peter for every one of them. So I took a stab at it and I got it wrong. So yeah.
I'd imagine, but I guess if Dan Snyder can't be the biggest asshole owner in sports, someone has to carry the crown, and this John Angelos is coming by, and he's when you're I guess if you're the kid that's been raised by a dad who can afford a baseball team, I don't know how hard he's actually worked, and he's probably now using just the equity of the team to fund whatever the hell he wants to do these days, because his dad bought the Orioles in 1993 for $173 million. The Marlins sold last year, the year previous, for 1.2 billion. So I'm guessing they're like old John Angelos is writing a lot of fucking checks that has come from the equity raised in the Orioles. He was born into being a baseball owner, not a passion of his, and he don't give a fuck. And for him to come out and say this stuff, and then also the players that he's talking about, they still have him under team control for 4 years.
For a lot of years still. So why, like, that's what I don't understand is why make these statements now? Why not give the fan base a little bit of glory and everything else to have themselves a chance? We have an actual, not just a playoff chance, but a world championship chance, the first time since 1980 or 81, I think it was, last time they hoisted a World Series trophy there in Baltimore. So why he felt the need to make if you're asked a question, you should give an answer, I guess, but why he had to get a derogatory statement about that and say, I'm going to be raising the prices for everything right across the board at this point, it doesn't make any sense when the guy's making nothing but money. We've talked about this before, TV deals and the parking and blah, 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 that these guys make money on no matter what. Like, why not just let fans enjoy it for a couple of years? And then when it comes time for this team, because maybe this year they caught lightning in a bottle, who knows? And next year they might come back to being the Baltimore Orioles again. You never know it with sports. It's such a year by year thing, because you get a few injuries, your team might not have an opportunity to be where they're at next year, the year after that. So to make those kinds of statements and not give the fans their due when they're getting 25 to 30,000 a night right now, why not just let it go? And the thing is, and we talk about it all the time, just with our local team here, if you get more people in the stands, you make more money. You don't need to raise ticket prices. You make more money no matter what. And it's free money because the seats are already there. So it's not like you have to raise prices that astronomically. If you get more people, they will spend more money. It's fairly simple.
Well, without a doubt, right? Like the $20 seats in the third level, that ticket's $20. There's $20 right in your pocket because you're turning the lights on and paying the janitors anyways. But
Exactly.
now that $20 turns into 50, 60. Maybe someone's going on a bender. They spend $100. They go to the gift store. That $20 turns into 200 pretty easy without much going on.
That everybody's there
And,
for anyways. The beers,
you
like
know,
the kegs are already bought, right? And so if you
yeah.
got to buy more, you got to buy more. But you know what? You can like I don't know anything about running a professional sports franchise, but it seems like you're going to need more beer anyways at
Right.
some point in the season. I'm just throwing that out there, right?
Well, then we got to buy more sandwiches to sell,
And
right?
on it goes.
Well, then, but check me if I'm wrong. When you buy this sandwich from the wholesaler and you pay someone to have a sandwich, and then you raise the price of said sandwich, you're gonna make more money on the sandwiches as well.
So why he felt the need to make that statement, if like these owners who do, and it happens all the time throughout sport, like he talk about the guy out in Oakland who's pulling his weight around, and it's everywhere. But these guys who think that they're pulling the wool over the common man's eyes, because sports fans probably know more about their franchises than the owners do, because they're fans and they're fanatical and they want to know what's going on and why. So they have a lot more answers, I think, than questions when it comes to this kind of stuff. So why owners feel the need to make these statements, I will never get it. I don't think old John Angelos is fooling anybody.
No, he doesn't. And there's this expiring stadium deal with the Baltimore stadium
Sports
network.
Authority, whatever. Yeah.
Something like that, but it's in joint. It's a deal they have to sign with the Ravens because those two barns are really close to each other, and they share parking and all this kind of stuff. And this Angelos guy wants more money from this fund to run his team. Well, I don't. No one's buying this because he's never given a shit since he became the owner and principal. I guess that's what I'm going to call him, and you're not spending any money on the team. So why do you need more money? And then any money that he asked for that the exact same amount of money has to go to the Baltimore Ravens, who aren't pissing and moaning and saber rattling, saying maybe I'm going to move this team. And there's no way. Like what makes this different from the Oakland owner? The Oakland owner wanted out. He wanted.
He found a way to hit rock bottom
Yeah.
and move out. He was making sure no one was
exactly.
coming.
Yeah, you bet that. And then like
The
when he
stadium
did
and everything else. Like
Mhm.
there's no way. Good point, Dave. There's no way that beautiful stadium in Baltimore won't have a major league team.
Correct.
There's no way possible.
And I get it. The commissioner, I forget his name right now. He
Manfred.
even though he's Manfred, even though he's working for the owners and he makes that apparent every single decision or every time he opens his yap,
Yeah.
he's on the side of the owners. But if anybody even thinks about relocating the Orioles, like I think every Major League Baseball fan on the planet will be freaking out because
Well, maybe this is his way of, because he, like you mentioned earlier, that the Marlins sold for $1.2 billion, whatever it was, and like it wasn't that many. Well, it's a lot of years ago now when the Guggenheim Group bought the Dodgers for two billion cash, but left the parking lot deal to their past owner. But parking $20, $20. That's 81 times a year, man. That's good business. Wish I could get into that business, but
yeah.
it's better than SeatGeek, obviously. But yeah, it's one of those things. Like maybe this Angelos guy is just trying to find a way to get this team sold so he can actually profit and without having to do any work at all. Like,
Well,
I don't know how much actual like work he puts in to being the owner of the Baltimore Orioles, but if he can just strong arm his way out without strong arming his way out, just by making these comments and everything else, and strong arming this sports authority group in Baltimore, maybe this is his way of saying I'm going to find a way for them to make me sell this team. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, that was another thing this article touched upon. Like, it's not his team to sell; it's his dad's, and so who knows how that works, right? With the and like his dad's 90 some, and I don't care who has
There's a
power of
piss match with one of
authority.
the other kids or something going
Yeah,
on there. Yeah.
yeah. There's something going on, and that we'll never know. And even last year, John, the guy running the team, said like, "Well, I'll open the books. You guys can see the books and see we're not making money." And then it came to the day where he was going to present the books. It's like, well, no, I can't really do that, because there's some sensitive information in there. So he's a total Dan Snyder, and that's Aaron. Brutally honest, Aaron, I'm sorry, but pal, you got a shit fucking owner.
No,
So I hope
he's
you guys
well aware
catch
of that.
it.
He's on Twitter all the time, pissing and moaning about that. But Aaron pissed and moaning, he surprised me. Who was a fan of on a daily basis. One day he's a Phillies fan, the next day he's an Orioles fan. Whatever, it doesn't much matter. It's no, you just like, and for a guy to crack open the books, crack open the books back in 2000 or yeah 2015, 16 when the Orioles were relevant. Crack open the books when they first bought the team, and Cal Ripken was setting the record. Crack open the books when the Yankees are in town, because the Yankees draw quite well in Baltimore, probably more so this year than years past, because the Orioles do a lot more winning than they have. But crack open the books in the good years and let's see it. So if you have a competitive team, and not even a World Series class team, but if you have a team, because now with Major League Baseball, with their expanded playoffs and everything else that they have, and the wild cards and on it goes, there's teams that are relevant now, or they have a playoff shot right now that 2 years ago they probably wouldn't. But because of the expanded playoff picture, you have people who are going to games more often now than they were, say, 2 or 3 years ago, because of the expanded playoffs.
And never mind that, like we started when we started this conversation, these young guys that are just putting asses in the seats and keeping the team in first place, they're all under team control for like 3 to 4 more years. I think a couple of those guys aren't free agents until 2028,
making
and,
like
and
500 grand, 600 grand.
you have salary control. This is such a rare opportunity to go for it. As Jay's fan, it was pushed down our throats so much how this good young team is ready, can't wait for 3-4 years. You know what? It's been 3-4 years.
And that's now,
And
yeah.
you bet. Like, and this is a pretty critical time for the Toronto Blue Jays franchise. They haven't made a dent in any kind of postseason play. And it doesn't appear, unless they figure out how to hit. I don't know how so many guys forget how to hit. Unless they figure that out again, they're not going to make a dent this year. And so, just as a fan base, they see it all the time. Chicago had their one kick at the cat. They took it. They got their title, and then they started selling.
You can live on that for 10
right?
years. Well, the Cubs fans will live on for 108 more years. They'll be fine.
They'll be fine.
They
And
want to, but
and as an Orioles fan now, this piece of shit's going to sell the pieces. He's going to sell the pieces. There's no way. And that's when he says, I'm going to raise ticket prices, what they're hearing is he's going to raise ticket prices now and still sell these
and
pieces.
still sell the teams
Now
next year he can raise ticket prices because the team is better, and so there'll be more of the old supply and demand thing, right? So he can do that, and he's going to get rid of these the Rushmans of the world and the Gunnar Hendersons of the world and everything else. It's such a crooked fucking move, and because I don't think that if you have a team that you're following and they're successful, they're doing good, you don't mind paying $5, $6, $10 more per seat, because how many guys go to 81 a year, right?
Right.
Like it's when you get raising them 20 and $30, and all of a sudden you're like, well, now the family isn't going to 4 games or 5 games this year. We're going to 1. So if it's a single guy and he's got to cut back on how many BLs he drinks that game, you can probably stomach that. But if it's a thing that it's an exponential amount of money, then that's when you run into trouble when it comes to fan base, because it's already expensive. Even though you're sitting, it's not so much the ticket, unless you're sitting in the presidential suites that every field has, but you can get into a baseball game for a pretty reasonable price. It's all the other stuff that gets you.
Yeah. And it's your time commitment, which fans do, and that's part about sports, and that's what us as sports fans like spending our leisure time on. And then so let's say, okay, we're willing to pay $5 or more $5 more per seat to come to your game now. And then, okay, so now when you trade Rauschman instead of signing him,
Are you taking that money off?
Are you taking that $5 off? Well, inflation and paperwork and all that kind of stuff. The people don't trust this owner as far as they can kick him, and he's still not even doing the best for his team by signing a simple fucking lease agreement that the Ravens seem to be able to figure out every fucking year. Like, I don't know how long, not every year, but you know what I'm saying. He's crooked, and the Orioles is just his end to a means. He doesn't have the team's best interests at heart, and that's clear to everybody, fans, non-fans, casual observers. This guy's crooked, and he's in it for the stroke, not for the team.
Like, you wonder if you ever get to a point where you might have I just thought of this. You might get to a point where you have like the community is more at the forefront of a franchise, where maybe it ends up being like the Green Bay Packers, like they call it community owned. It kind of is, but it's not really when it comes down to it. Like, you wonder if you might ever get to a baseball team or a hockey team that they go, you know what? Let's have this our city just buy this team, because the money that these quasi-successful franchise brings in, and then you could have jobs that are there, and on and on and on. You wonder if that's ever going to become a thing where a team is actually community owned, that actually a team that has the community's best interest in it, and it might be a way to get rid of these owners that just use this thing as a toy and a personal bank account.
Well, I just said that. I thought, well, let's think about the owners like that. Let's talk about Jerry Jones in Dallas. He wants nothing more than to win one, but he's spending his money foolishly. In the NHL, we have Daryl Katz, right? Who and even the Flames, who want nothing more than to put a winner on the ice and bring a Stanley Cup home. But money's not an object, and they're willing to do it. The desire is not an object. It's now just putting the machinations in to make this happen. But they're so eager to make their team a winner that they're throwing money at problems as to actual diagnosing problems. Orioles fans and franchise has the opposite problem. We kind of figured it out, but now we got the guy at the top pulling the strings who's trying to fuck this whole thing up for us.
And the bad thing about this, not the bad thing, like the Orioles are playing really great baseball, and their best record in the American League, and hopefully they start a 3-game series tonight with the Jays we were talking about, and this will probably put the Jays out of their out of the division, the lead, no matter what. They're probably going to catch that 8.5 out, but you just wonder, like, when a team has this kind of moxie going on like the Orioles do you think there might be a player or two like, fuck this guy? Like, how does a team react to this? Not so much this year because you're in first place, but if they get off to a bad start next year, do they go, you know what? I'm getting paid anyways. This guy's already basically said he's going to sell me off. I'm going to get mine no matter what. Do the Rushmans of the world, do the Gunnar Hendersons of the world, and whoever else they got on that team. Do they just kind of go through the motions a little bit? Yeah, because if they're going to get their free agent deals when these team control deals are up, and they'll get paid quite handsomely. Do you think that they go, fuck this guy? What? I'm going to mail it in a couple times a week. Fuck him. Who cares?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because now they're doing it for each other, like the major league franchise, right? Like they might have that. They might put John Angelos stickers in
us versus him kind of deal, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Put them on the urinal cakes, man. Like, fuck this guy. Like, we're doing it for us. I get it, but like, when are we ever going to have an opportunity to bond and to win as brothers? Because the simple fact that all these guys are so young means they did play on the same teams for, I don't know, 3-4 years in the minors. They've ridden buses, they've shared Happy Meals, they've probably gone on a slump buster or two.
Get drafted by a team that lost 100+ games, thinking, holy fuck, what am I gonna do once I get there? This can be awful. Yeah.
And then now you're there and you're winning as a young group of guys. I imagine they're having so much ridiculous fun, and the manager and whoever's pulling the strings there on the field and is charge of gameplay, they don't mention the owner, because the owner's a problem, boys. But we can only take care of what we can take care of, and let's do it now, because who knows when this ass crack is going to break us up.
And we might be playing above our heads, so we better just go after it and get it. Right?
You bet. the young dumb, right?
We might not get one of these chances ever again. No, it's crazy. And we'll get off this right now. I'm going to finish this off. You just wonder why these owners, and there's I'd say it's about half and half throughout sports, who are there for profit and are there to win. Like you said, Jerry Jones wants to win. He just can't get out of his own way. But then there's ownerships who can't see the forest through the trees, and they don't realize that if we win, I'm going to make more money. Simple. Like it's that simple. That if we win, if we're a success, we will have more people in the stands. And I'm not talking if you're a 500 team, but if you're playing, the only difference between 500 and 600 baseball is one win a week. Really, when it comes down to it, it's just math. And you wonder why these guys don't get it. Like if we get a better team and people look in the standings on whatever app on MajorLeagueBaseball.com and see that their team has an actual shot, that more people are going to go. And you'll make more money. Why they don't see that, I will never understand. I will never get it.
And,
I think baseball's the worst for that.
Completely, because it's a good problem to have. Is it a good problem to have right now? Then, if you're an Orioles fan, or like I keep mentioning this team, one of the ones I like, the Rockies, right? They get their 20,000, 25,000 a year, and they know we're never going to win, but it's something to do, and we're just going to have fun, right? But what do you do there? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's
like, I guess there's a hierarchy in each community, right? Like where like the Rockies are probably third or probably fourth on the pecking order of professional sports franchises, because you got to think that obviously the Broncos are number one, the Avalanche two, the Nuggets three, and then the Rockies are distant fourth. So the people of Denver are like, we just go to games because it's fun. It's nice, right. Got a nice building. We go to games because it's fun. We have our other three franchises in sports that we're more passionate about, but we also don't mind spending $1 or $2 to go to the ballpark.
Yeah, and I think Denver is I think Denver's an odd town where they are an active city, right? They like getting out and doing shit. They're outdoorsmen. They're trail riding. They're doing this kind of shit. And so summer, it's a nice distraction. We take our winter sports seriously because we need something to do. Yeah. We can't ski every fucking weekend.
Yeah, it's just too bad. It's just too bad this Angelos guy had to be the center of attention. I mean, that's what these guys are, egomaniacs, and you wonder why, like the greed that comes over these mega ultra rich guys. I will never understand it. Like when you got something that's in your backyard that's worth $1 billion plus, and you're still pissing and moaning about money that you could still be making anyways. I will never understand it.
Asking for money like this, the stadium deal that he has to sign before December 31st. It seems to me like he has his hand out. He's asking for money from there, and like he's a billionaire's kid that is tasked with running the team, and he could give a fuck about the team. He just wants the financial rewards of running said team. And at least, maybe you got to give him credit for being such a douche nozzle right off the hop. Yeah. And saying, hey, don't worry, I ain't spending the money. So
it's not like really what was said yesterday is not a surprise to any Orioles fan or baseball fan. Really. Mm-hmm. It's not a shock.
Yep. When someone tells you who they are, believe them.
Pretty much every time. Anyways, the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, 4 beer sports talk, and a whole lot more. This segment is brought to you by SeatGeek.com. The SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420pod at SeatGeek.com today and save yourself $20 on your first purchase at SeatGeek. You just listened to the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. 4 beer sports talk and a whole lot more. We are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Let's get into it.